Hey guys, this is Sam from the Privateers team, and I'm going to show you how to use our event editor today. This is the first of a couple videos that we're going to do, and this one's just going to go through the basics about how to use it. So the first thing you need to do is you need to download the Privateers game, and you need to have the Privateers event editor, both of the newest version. And then you just double-click the event editor and hit play, and it will come up and you can get started. And what you're going to see is this. And the first thing you need to do is you need to pick a place to put your event. So I've created a new directory, C drive test, and then you're going to name the XML file for your events. So this is, I'm going to say, my new test.xml just to make sure it's a new one. And then then up here you are able to create various things and save and load. And what you want to start with is new event. So this is going to pop up this node, which is a new event. Then you need to name your new event, my test event. This is just used for finding the event in the game. This text doesn't show up anywhere. If you want it to show up in the game, you need it enabled. And then the next things in the event is what happens sort of in the tavern and in the sailing experience. So let's go ahead and start up the game really quick to look at this. So if I start up Privateers, and if we start a new game and we get to the port and you go to the tavern, here you'll see that an event has somebody who's giving it to you, they have some text, then the event has some amount of time it takes to complete and a cost. And that's what we have here first. So the tooltip name is going to be the patron name is going to be who gives the event. The tavern text is going to be what I have to tell you about it. And then if you accept an event, like I accept this one from the old sailor, and now I go to the sales screen, here you have the name and some description before you actually embark on that event. And that's what these tooltips are. So here we have the tooltip name, and then in the body here, description, like a brief description. And then if you want it to cost money, this is some percentage of the amount of normal cost. So 100 would mean the normal amount that event might cost. If it's like a very profitable event, you might want to make this higher, or if it's not, then lower, or if you put 0, it's free. Expire days, this is from when the event is taken, how long it takes for it to expire. The default is sort of 14, but you can make it shorter or longer depending on the event. And sale days is how long it takes to actually complete the event. Usually it's 4 or 5 days. And then you need to pick a map icon. There's a whole bunch of options here. You can pick whatever you want. This is the icon that shows up here. Here we had picked the anchor for the curious location. So that's sort of the configuration you need for it to show up in the tavern. And then the rest of this stuff we'll kind of get into more later. But if you scroll down to the bottom, there's this button for Add Start Dialogue. You want to click that. And what's going to pop up is this dialogue node. Now the dialogue is the text that the user's going to read. Here is a brand new event with some very interesting text for you to ponder. Okay, so then you give that, and then dialogues can have many responses. So if you click the Add Response button, then here comes a response. So you can say, I don't like that. Or we could click Add Response again. And then we get another one. And you can say, sounds like a good idea. And then we click Save up here. So this is like the most simple event that we could possibly make. So let's go ahead and save it. And now if you go to that location on your computer, you're going to see you have my new test.xml. That's the file that we just made. So let's go back to Privateers now. So let's save and exit the game. And now there's a button at the bottom called Test Event. So if we click Test Event, it's going to ask us for the path to our test event. And I called it my new test.xml at this path. So my new test.xml. And then that's the file path. And then the event name was what we put at the top of this event start, my test event. So then I can put that here, my test event. And then click Start. Something didn't work there. Why did that not work? My new test. My test event. This all looks fine. Okay, let's try it once more. Let's open up privateers. Test event. C drive test my new test.xml. My test event. Start. Okay, now it's working. I don't know what happened that first time. So then here's the text. Here's a brand new event with some very interesting text for you to ponder. And you can select I don't like that or sounds like a good idea, right? So that is the very basics about how you create an event and test it in the game. Okay? See what happens if I try it again. Second time it works? Okay. There's some bug there that I'll fix. But that's not a very interesting event, right? So what we can do is we can actually do a few things. Like, for instance, there's a concept of props, and I'll link to a OneNote that describes all the different kind of props that can be added. But let's add a prop, and the prop's a small ship, and let's add characters to the prop. And then there's various different kinds of characters. So let's say that we want to add some ogres onto this ship. We want to have 2 groups of 2, and they're going to be hostile. Okay, let's save that. Now let's go back, now that we've added another prop into the scene and put some ogres on it that are hostile. Now there's another thing as well, which is that in responses you can add an action. So let's add an action result, and one action result is to say you need to wait for all the enemies to die. So wait for enemy count to be less than 0. So this means that I'm going to wait till you've killed all the ogres, and then after that is done, I can add another dialogue that says, you killed the ogres. And then with this dialogue we can add an award. So I can say, okay, you killed the ogres. Gold base adjust, so if I put 1 here, that's the normal amount of gold that an event would give. You can give some items. You can even give extra crew members. So like if the event was about rescuing somebody, you could give a new crew member once they were rescued. Various different things that you can give. And then a dialogue must have a response. So we can just have the response say, great. Okay, let's save this. The other thing is that you can make like a response hook up to the same action as somebody else's. So I can add an action result but delete it. And then go up here and copy this ID node out of the top here and put the ID into this response. Now you see both of these responses point to the same action. So no matter which one you click, the same thing will happen. Okay, so let's save this now. And let's go back and let's start up the game again. Now that we've updated our event. And let's see what happens. So click test event, start, and now what you're going to see, now there's another ship in the event, and look, he's got ogres on it coming over to fight me. So, if I killed them all, which I'm not going to take the time to do, then I would get the award that we had configured up here. So here's how you can kind of put something interesting like a ship battle or something else like that. There's lots of different kinds of actions that you can put in, you see, that have various different effects. But the main ones that people are going to be using is waiting for the enemies to go to 0, or you can add characters onto a prop here. So for instance, I could add some characters onto the ship. Say it was being sabotaged, so we'll add some bad guys onto one of the props, and various things like that. So again, these I will add some documentation into a OneNote that says for each one kind of some brief description about what they do. So that's the super basic idea of how you would configure an event. The next video we're going to talk about branches, which is what allows you to go through multiple locations in a single event. So you can tune in for that one a little bit later. Thanks.